Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
I want to go back today a little bit to talk about some more preparing room concepts, largely because the preparing room's the gift that keeps on giving in a lot of ways. Today I want to talk a little bit about the difference between money and wealth. And for those of you financial advisors or folks that are already in the business, I'd like you to listen to this episode with a kind heart. That said, there is a fundamental difference between money and wealth. And we make that distinction kind of quickly in the ritual. We tell you that money and valuables have been removed from often about your person to remind you that money could not have, or wealth could not have purchased your admission here had you lacked the necessary qualifications. And it's interesting because first things first, let's go between the difference between money and wealth. Money is that it's the currency and the what that represents in the location that you are. So if it's you're in the UK, it's pounds. If you're in the EU, it's euros. If you're in the US, it's dollars. Canada, same deal. Australia, same deal. South America has dozens of currencies. So anyway, the wealth is something else entirely. And wealth is not only the physical assets, the accumulated physical assets that are capable of delivering value, it's also the intellectual assets, process, understanding, vocab, lexicon, all of those are forms of wealth. And so what's interesting in a Masonic context is that none of those things could have bought your entry here had you lacked the necessary qualifications. That evaluation is pretty interesting because it really means it doesn't matter just how much money you have or what your standing in society might be. That no amount of brain power or sort of worldliness could have purchased your admission here. That is really a kind of a powerful learning because it begs the question, then what does allow you to operate at a Masonic level? What does allow you to kind of enter the lodge as a concept? Because those necessary qualifications are by default different than all of the things that we tend to socially value. So I would invite you to reflect on this because we get tied up, I think, a lot with the idea of money, wealth, and all of that kind of thing. Socially, it's simultaneously, worshipped and demonized as the root of all evil. We tend to take those with social status or with the wealth that accumulates or the money that accumulates with social status and put them on a pedestal for lots of reasons. So as you're sitting there figuring out what the necessary qualifications are, and you may spend an entire lifetime trying to figure out what that is, because the more I reflect on it, the more it's if it's not what you know, and it's not what you have, then what is it? There is, and then could anyone fail that test? Starts to become a meaningful question, right? If it's not what you know, for example, moral behavior is an education, right? So if it's not your moral education, if it's not that wealth, then what is it? What is it that allows you to become a Mason? I would love to hear your thoughts. I think, the deeper I reflect on this, the more it becomes a little bit of an Ouroboros kind of snake eating its own tail thing. So please reach out, find me on Facebook, find me at amasonswork.com. Share your thoughts here. This is one of the times where it's there's so many sort of heavy and laden concepts here that are easy to get conflated, that you start to really get muddled up in the vocab. So please share your thoughts, share your reflections. I'm interested in learning more. Bye for now.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.